Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, March 23rd, 2025. Oh, that suspicious text message that just popped up on my phone, that must have been a hack. Good cover, Marlan. The hacker did it. Duh. Actually, on second thought, maybe now would be a good time to just go ahead and get out of town. That's not suspicious or anything. Marlan said to his new bride, let's get married out of the country. And you know what? Why don't I go ahead and get a head start? I'll meet you there. Oh, no. Tracy actually asked Jack if she could use the Chabot private jet so that she could go scouting wedding locations in Paris. Man, Tracy never asks for anything. And then the one time she does ask for something, it's all for nothing. Bummer. Big, big bummer. But not for nothing, Jack noted that Alan is being a little impulsive right now with the proposal and then the engagement and then the wedding, and all of this is happening in a span of just a couple of days. And Jack did express that he felt it was all moving a little too fast, and he ultimately kind of covered that concern up by saying, oh, well, it's just my gut instinct, and you know, I just don't want to be left out. I want to be with you on your wedding day. And Tracy surprised Jack by saying, I don't want that either. In fact, I want you to walk me down the aisle. Just the idea of that happening, just being in that moment, imagining it in my mind, it makes me teary. That's so absolutely beautiful. But you know what? I really still think that it's going to happen with the real Alan. After the dramatic rescue, that is. In the previews for next week, Tracy is saying, I'm not sure that he is who he says he is. And thank goodness that Tracy is not having the added foolishness of it all by being completely duped, because we as the audience respect Tracy, we know Tracy, and we know that she would know that she's not making love to the same man, right? She would know that his behavior is out of character, and she knows that he has a twin brother who is evil and who died under suspicious circumstances. And I mean, Jack had a evil twin at one point. So, you know, we're not treating Tracy like a fool. I love that she's already kinda starting to put together the pieces. And it's pretty interesting that we've kind of gone from being on the inside of a kidnapping, waiting for Phyllis and Sharon to be rescued for the last couple of weeks, but now we're kind of on the outside of a kidnapping, waiting for the reveal that there has to have been one of Alan, that Alan is somewhere out there being held hostage and he will be returned to his lady love eventually. And I don't think it's going to be long now. If, you know, Tracy's putting it together next week, we must be getting the reveal soon. I was glad that Kyle alerted her to the fact that, Alan's phone is being hacked with a message that says clinic break. Well, that's strange because Sharon and Phyllis just got rescued from a clinic. So ding ding, Kyle's little bell went off. Kyle's little bell started ringing, and he was able to give Tracy that valuable piece of information. And by the way, Chance was able to shine a black light all over that group therapy room, and he found a sensor that was on some kind of mechanical device that triggered the gas leak. Okay, and then he was able to trace that mechanical device, the mechanical advice, to a local hardware store, which is ridiculous, honestly. I feel like something like that would never, ever in a million years be found in your local hardware store. That is a total Amazon purchase right there. But, lucky for Chance, he is hoping that the hardware store will have the security footage that will reveal who it was that actually purchased the device. It's great that we have all of this security footage now. That is Chance's entire new job, tracking down security footage. But it's all right. I'll take it. It was good to see Phyllis and Sharon back out in the world this week wearing all new, fresh, clean outfits. Whew, that made me feel refreshed. Phyllis was not her usual self, though. Sharon seems to be bouncing back quite well, but Phyllis was not quite ready to step into a slinky dress. You know, she's still recovering. She put on the slinky dress, but she had to put a tan, like, trench overcoat on top of the whole thing. And I feel like that says something. She said, all right, I'm Phyllis, I've got the dress on, but I'm recovering, so I need to put, have the trench coat. The trench coat is my security trench coat right now. She said, trench coat and french fries, please. That's my reunion with my kids. I'm really glad that it's all been resolved so quickly. And all in all, the Sharon Phyllis kidnapping only lasted, 2 to 3 weeks tops? It's kind of great. I'm happy that everybody's safe and everybody's back. Phyllis was recounting the details of the kidnapping to Daniel and Summer, and then at the same time, Sharon was recounting the details of the kidnapping to Nick. And I thought it was very smart that Sharon was able to connect what had happened to them to a form of aversion therapy. Because isn't that what Connor went through recently, where you're exposed to the thing that you're afraid of in order to overcome it? And in this case, it was Sharon and Phyllis being exposed to each other in order to overcome it. And the fact that Sharon was able to make that connection was very insightful, and I'm sure will be helpful to the investigation as well. I was kind of surprised, though, that Sharon and Nick followed that conversation up by talking about their personal relationship. I'm all for it, of course, but it seemed a little fast. It seemed a little, I don't know, too personal. He did rescue her, of course, so she's grateful, and it maybe makes sense then that they would be exploring their past. Maybe it would be natural that they would be considering the depths of that relationship, that he would, and that he would rescue her. But I don't know, ultimately, they both seemed to acknowledge the fact that they've considered a reunion. But that they both feel that it's too risky. It's just too risky at this time to start down that path again, unless it's forever this time. If it's forever this time, then maybe. They didn't say that part, but I think it was implied. Nick actually encouraged Sharon to maybe take some time off, go to Europe, visit Noah and Faith, And she thought that was a good idea. She invited Nick to go with her, but he felt that it was best that he stay where he is and she go ahead and spend the time with the kids. And who knows, maybe she will come back with a fresh perspective, and maybe in her absence he will also have a fresh perspective, and maybe, just maybe, Adam and Chelsea won't be the only ones having a romantic reunion this spring. I'm loving these romantic evenings at the old new ranch with Adam and Chelsea. I think it's such a simple thing that makes such a big impact. And this week, Chelsea cooked dinner for Adam. And now, whereas he took the trouble of flying in a piece of cheesecake from New York, Chelsea really went all out and mixed up a box of cake from Duncan Hines. How romantic. She went all the way to the grocery store. She picked up that red box of perfectly moist yellow cake, shuffled a couple more steps over to the side, grabbed a jar of chocolate frosting, and voila! Magic! But it was meaningful magic. This was the right cake at the right time. Of course, it's pretty hard to mess up a box cake. But he ate it. He said, tastes processed. Just kidding. He said Chelsea's cake was the best cake he ever tasted. And then he took her upstairs and licked the plate. You're welcome. Yeah, last week we were speculating about what Adam and Chelsea were going to face as far as challenges. They're back together. This week they make love. I mean, it's the making love was the officialness of them being back together. But yeah, we were talking last week about what is it that's going to come up next for these two. And now it seems clear, because before the lovemaking, there was this hint of contention between them, because Adam was on the phone talking to somebody at Newman Media, telling them to go ahead, run a story about Billy's new company, Abbott Communications. Who cares if the story's unconfirmed? Who cares if it makes us look biased against a competitor? Just go ahead, run it as an op-ed. We need to shut this down. Adam was very serious. We need to shut this down. Well, Chelsea walked in and she didn't overhear anything, but Adam thought she did. Adam had a moment where he thought that he got caught, but that wasn't true. She had instead planned this whole romantic evening, but I think the future plot is all right there. I think it's been said all right there in that tiny little moment. Adam and Chelsea are back in love, and Chelsea is going to find herself right in the middle of Adam and Billy's power struggle for control of the media space, control of the business space, control of the narrative. Billy was really rattled after rescuing Phyllis. He knows how close it was to all going bad, and because if he and Nick had been just a couple of minutes later, Phyllis and Sharon would have been dead. They got there right in the nick of time. And on top of it, Billy feels really guilty that in Phyllis's absence, he doubted her. He assumed that she had flaked, that she'd gone all Phyllis on him. And since she wasn't around, he didn't include her name on the press release for the new business. So he feels guilty. But Sally tried reassuring him that he couldn't have known any of that. And after all, he was the one who saved Phyllis's life. He was the one who saved the day. Of course, Billy and Sally tried sealing it with some sexy massage and some sexy time and a little make-out sesh. But of course, who would come knocking on the door, interrupting it all? Phyllis, wearing her tragic tan trench coat. Saying it all right there, all doe-eyed, like really messed up from the ordeal that she has just been through. The trench coat saying it all. Needing a friend, of course. And honestly, it seemed like Billy needed her. This new business is very important to both of them, clearly. They both see it as a fresh start. They both see it as more than just some company. It's personal for them. They share that. They have that in common. And Phyllis said to Billy, I need this, and I need this now. And Billy said, I don't want to move forward without you. You're the one that, I want to be with. I thought it was very interesting that Billy mentioned that he didn't want to run this business with anyone but her. He has come to see her as a partner. Even though he's the owner of the company, he sees something in her, and she sees something in him, and that makes them a match. Sorry, Sally. Amy has been rushed into the life-saving mystery procedure that clears cancer right away. I don't know why she would not have wanted to do that sooner. She should have done that sooner. But now she has Damien to live for, so she's right on board with, okay, I guess I'll live. Damien was actually the one who brought us the news that Amy was in Chicago receiving treatment because Nate couldn't be reached. He was too busy in a business meeting with his phone on silent. I mean, Marlan, take note. That's how you do it. There's a little button on your phone, apparently. You can press it and voila, phone doesn't ring or beep. That's what I'm told anyway. You guys would laugh if you could see my flip phone. My Motorola Nokia flip with the big piece of masking tape on the back of it that has the phone number written because I don't know it. Sophisticated. But Nate wanted that call. He wanted to get that call. Nate has been the one who has been there for Amy from the beginning. He's the one that let himself get dragged into this whole mess, and I think Nate just really wants to see it through to the happy ending that he's hoping for. So he decides that he's going to go up to Chicago and surprise Amy, and guess who's coming with him? That's right, the busy CEO of 2 companies, Damien. He's coming too. He's going to go see his mother. He and Nate, brothers, going to see Amy. And next week in the previews, Victor is revealing that he has some kind of history with Alexander Dumas. I think it's spelled D-U-M-A-S, but it said Dumas. I feel like there's a trick here because it occurs to me that it's spelled D-U-M-A-S, which also is really close to dumbass. So I feel like Alexander Dumbass is going to turn out to be some kind of like play here. Like it's going to be like, oh, it's really Victor and you guys are really a bunch of dumbasses. But I don't know. What does it mean? Victor says it could even just be Victor. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm still hoping that it's Tucker, to be honest with you. I really doubt it, but I'm still hoping for Tucker. I think that would be a great outcome, but I am really curious to who it could be because I also saw a news article that said Y&R is getting a Days of Our Lives star. There's someone from Days of Our Lives, Billy Flynn. I don't know what character he plays. He didn't look familiar to me. But apparently he's a Days of Our Lives star who quit Days of Our Lives and is coming to Y&R. So could he be Dumas? That's French for dumbass. Sorry, but it occurs to me as funny. And I'm looking forward to finding it out, really. I kind of feel too bad. I feel like it's too bad that it couldn't have been Holden, that maybe the twist would have been that Holden was the rich boss all along, but I know that's not the case. And I'm fizzling out on Holden, to be honest with you. I think I just don't like the vibe between he and Audra. There's something sinister about it. Something about it feels sinister, like more than I'm someone who wants you back. I'm an ex-boyfriend who wants you back. It's probably just me, but he gives me the creeps when he's around her. It does not feel romantic. It feels stalkery. I'm sure it's just me. Because he did get her to crack a smile this week talking about their past. And I think I'm just going to need some more of that, please. So just give me a little bit more of that. A couple more rounds of margaritas and Metallica might be just the thing to turn me around. Do not hide your light under a bushel. Do you know who said that this week? I bet you do. But if you want to go confirm, you should go to yrchat.com, find do not hide your light under a bushel, click it, and find out who said it. Okay, let's get to some comments, because Diana says, I thought it was funny when Holden and Audra were reminiscing about their past. And Holden was asking Audra if she remembers singing Metallica songs at the bar. I would not have expected to learn that Audra likes heavy metal. But at the same time, I'm not surprised, as Audra seems like she has another side that we don't see or know about. Having said that, I like when the show incorporates real life people and things that we can all relate to. Yeah, I mean, which Metallica song was Audra going to town on? That's my question too. Yeah, I can kind of see it. You're right, Diana. It adds this whole extra flavor to Audra's character, that she knows every word to even a couple of Metallica songs, or that she was doing karaoke and she scrolled through and she said, Metallica, Enter Sandman, yes. T. Nicole says, Summer needs to learn from Holden how to turn a lunch conversation into something hopefully flirty. Yeah, I mean, Holden did definitely do his best to make it cute. I'm sure I'll get turned around. I don't know what it is. It's just bugging me. But you're right. Summer kind of did something similar this week, right? Claire had a hair appointment and was not going to be able to have a lunch with Kyle. I mean, speaking, Diana, of like flavor that gets added to the character, I loved that Claire had a hair appointment. I'm like, oh, I have hair appointments. So I get it. You can't miss the hair appointment. And so Claire was not available for lunch with Kyle, but Summer said, I'll have lunch with you, Kyle. Yeah, if you don't mind just talking about our son, that thing that connects us. Summer is full on doing it, competing. She's full on competing now for Kyle's attention. But I really love all of her little looks, like Kyle and Claire in the background talking about their lives, and Summer in the foreground shaking her sugar packet while rolling her eyes, stirring her coffee, like whatever. I think it's entertaining. I'm sure there's mixed opinions on who you want to end up with who, like who should win Kyle's heart and affection in the end, but I think it's entertaining in the meantime. Diana also says, I'm not sure if I'm right or not, but has Y&R stopped acknowledging the characters' birthdays? I can't remember the last time a character had a birthday on the show. I know we used to see it. If they did stop, then I wonder why. I would also assume that the show uses real life birthdays. Yeah, I think so too, Diana, because, I mean, I don't know, Nick comes to mind as a New Year's Eve birthday. Seems like they maybe do still mention Nick's birthday, but yeah, you know what? We maybe need a birthday. That would be fun. You know who could be there? Christy, because her birthday is tomorrow. Christy, happy birthday. Y&R might be forgetting birthdays here and there, but Y&R Chat does not. I hope you have a beautiful birthday, Christy. Let me look at these poll results from last week because I asked you guys, should Sharon and Phyllis be friends, enemies, or somewhere in between? Majority of people, I kind of guessed this, say somewhere in between. I think that's a reasonable place to put it. But if you are wondering which way the chatters lean, if only we're given the choice between friends and enemies, friends wins. Do you find that surprising? I voted enemies. I guess I'm just here for the drama, but Naomi says friends. Definitely want them as friends. The two now have the shared experiences of the Nut Hut escapade. Oh my gosh, the Nut Hut. These two women share intimate knowledge of each other. They've slept with all the same men. They've slept intertwined on an old grubby couch. Yes, true that. Steven says, I voted friends. The enemy's shtick has gone on years too long. Sharon has a major company and Phyllis has great IT skills. True. Sue W says in between, and more inclined toward enemies, as some things just will never change. Even while each has begrudgingly found some respect for the other and could actually put differences aside, a dire need, unless a dire need rises again. Yeah, in between seems reasonable. That's what I would expect from you, Sue W. A nice reasonable. You're very good at sussing out the in between, really. Tony says friends don't work with these two. Enemies fighting over the same guy works better. Nick and Sharon is forced script writing, though. Nick and Phyllis were and could be so good. I like them both, Tony. I mean, honestly, I do, because I do think Nick and Phyllis have really good chemistry, too. Yeah, but I mean, I think it seems like the viewers maybe don't want to see that again. I've seen some comments this week like, ugh, no, not this again. Russell's still hoping for somewhere in between. Them getting along will freak everyone out, but hopefully they will still have some tension too. You know, Russell, that's a really good point. Aside from how the audience might feel about it, if Sharon and Phyllis had even the briefest period of straight up like being friends, going shopping together, having real conversations of real friendship, that would freak the other people in Genoa City out bad. It would be so weird and it would be so fun to see those reactions. So maybe, just maybe, you guys are onto something and friendship could be an interesting new path for these two. Something different that we actually haven't seen. We've never seen Phyllis and Sharon being friends before, so it could be fresh. Mary Ann V says Sharon and Phyllis are best as frenemies. Somewhere in between friends and enemies is perfect for them. They will never be true friends, though, because of their history with Nick and Heather's death. You know what, Mary Ann V, that's true. It's true. I mean, Sharon might be able, with enough time having passed, she might be able to set aside the affair that Nick and Phyllis had, because it wasn't all Phyllis, it was also Nick. So, and it's been, I mean, I don't even know, 30 years, how long has it been for that? Sharon might be able to set that aside. But Phyllis setting aside what just happened with Heather, that's a longer shot. T. Nicole says, I voted somewhere in between. I really enjoyed seeing Phyllis and Sharon being friendly with each other and prefer that way over the constant bickering. Yeah. Sharon W. says the very tender conversation between Nick and Sharon today was promising. At least Sharon is finally saying out loud that she's thought about being with Nick again. You know what? That's a good point. It was kind of a breakthrough moment for Sharon White, because we've seen her having all of these daydreams and visions for months now. And finally she said it out loud, and finally we did hear Nick's response. So that's a really good way of looking at it, and I didn't look at it that way before. So thank you for that comment. Sue W says, I will forever tout the Nick and Sharon endgame, and for it to be forever, full circle, first love, and all of that. But did Nick just lay out to Sharon that they are irrevocably done as a couple? Do you think, is that what you do? I mean, they definitely ended it on a note of, we can't hurt each other anymore. But I feel like there was also those notes that you said of, we can't hurt each other again. It would have to be for real this time. Russell says, Nick and Sharon were so sweet today. I've always liked them as a couple. Nick holding back to protect Sharon from possible pain of a breakup? They love each other. Yeah. I mean, Sharon's in no place to explore a relationship just coming off of her PCP bender and 2 kidnappings, so maybe it's best to put a little bit of space on that. Maybe let it develop. I mean, we've been saying that they're going to get back together, predicting the big Sharon and Nick reunion for a year now. I wonder if we're finally going to get to it. Well, Astra says, I'm not looking forward to Nick and Sharon's up-teenth reunion, or Billy and Phyllis possibly getting back together. I don't see any chemistry between this Phyllis and Billy. She comes off as his crazy older sister than romantic partner. Plus, I like Billy and Sally together. Astra, we need you to come by more often. I have not heard very many Billy Sally boosters, so it would be great if you could stop by every once in a while and give us that Billy Sally boosting perspective. But that's an interesting take too. You're like, I've seen Nick and Sharon, and you said this Phyllis and Billy don't have the chemistry. I do still miss Gina Tognoni, and I think it would be such a cool twist if they brought her on as a different character or something, did something fun with her, because she's the one who had the chemistry with Jason Thompson's Billy, that's for sure. Wow! Sharon W says, per next week's previews, Martin, in quotes, is heading to Paris to get ready to meet Tracy when she arrives. He will obviously have her transported to his very own clinic where he has been holding Alan and Ashley captive all this time. No! Steven says it best. Given the show's recent history, it may be time to coin a new word. Yak. Meaning, yet another kidnapping. As in, I sure hope that Tracy doesn't get yacked next week. Or, is the real Alan in Paris yak? I sure hope Tracy doesn't get yacked next week. That's a good one. Yeah, really? I did not catch that. Did I not get that preview, or did I not pick up on that? It didn't, did I don't know. I thought I saw Tracy telling somebody that she wasn't sure this was the real Alan, but I didn't see anything indicating that she might get kidnapped. But I like Sharon W's theory. It's possible Tracy will get kidnapped and she'll find out that Ashley's been kidnapped too. Gary says, I was so surprised to have Tracy announce that she didn't know if Alan was really Alan in the coming attractions for next week. Me too. I mean, doesn't it feel like, Gary, that was fast? I think sometimes we're stuck in old soap opera time where you expect something to really drag out. That's how I felt about the Sharon and Phyllis kidnapping. I expected that to be still going on now. But here we are. It's not been very long, and Tracy seems to be putting together the pieces very quickly. Sue W says, the red flags are waving, Tracy. What a squirrel your newly intended is suddenly looking like. What the heck is going on? A crazy Alan all along? You know, again, this is the interesting thing. It could still be Alan. It absolutely could still be Alan. It could be that this is just straight Alan and Martin was always dead. It could be that there was a swapperoo and Martin took Alan's place back in Paris. It could be that Alan was always the bad guy and Martin was the good guy and Alan somehow pulled off this twist. I mean, we just don't know that piece of the puzzle yet, but I'm looking forward to figuring it out. Sue W says, the red flags are waving, Tracy. What a squirrel your newly intended is suddenly looking like. What the heck is going on? A crazy Alan all along? You know, again, this is the interesting thing. It could still be Alan. It absolutely could still be Alan. There could be that there was a swapperoo and Martin took Alan's place back in Paris. It could be that Alan was always the bad guy and Martin was the good guy and Alan somehow pulled off this twist. I mean, we just don't know that piece of the puzzle yet, but I'm looking forward to figuring it out. Diana says Tracy's choice of words were ironic when she was telling Jack that Alan is exactly who he says he is. I feel like the outcome in this storyline is going to be that Martin kidnapped his brother and that this is Martin. Yeah, Diana, I think that's probably the most straightforward answer. That's probably where my bet would go. But Lara says, I suspect that Alan is really Ian Ward in disguise. Y&R's done this before, most memorably with Jack. It isn't my favorite kind of plot twist. It's too silly. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, you just never know. Everybody's mentioning Ian Ward. People seem to accept that Jordan is dead. But everybody seems to be going, well, wait a minute, what about Ian Ward? And Y&R did have him open his eyes. So, I mean, I don't know. Could Ian Ward be Alexander Dumas? I don't know. Ooh, Connie says, inquiring minds need chatter help about Tracy's former marriages. Also, who was Colleen's father? Those are some old flashbacks I'd like to see. And Sue W. answers, Tracy was married to Danny Romalotti, then Brad Carlton, and then Steve somebody. Oh, Steve, hold on, Steve's last name, maybe Connolly, I want to say. Fully pulling that from memory. Kind of proud of myself. Sometimes don't remember what I did yesterday, but pretty sure I just got Steve Connolly right. Dang. Sue W. says, I don't know all the details, but the first two guys were never really in love with her. Yeah, Danny and Brad. But I think Steve was a love match. They moved away from Genoa City and eventually got divorced. Fuzzy on those details. Maybe they grew apart. Brad was Colleen's father. Yeah, I think Danny, I believe, married Tracy to help her cover up a pregnancy or something, or she was pregnant and he was like, oh, I'll marry you. So that didn't work out. And then she was married to Brad twice, and they did have Colleen. It was definitely never, I don't know. I think I came along maybe in the second marriage, so I don't remember how their initial romance went, but I don't think it was a love of a lifetime kind of thing for either of them. Steve was fine, but I don't remember being all of that wowed with Steve or Steve and Tracy. I also kind of think he had an affair on her. I feel like they went away to New York, and then when she came back, she said they were divorcing because he had an affair. Just saying. Shout out Steve Connolly. Wonder what he's up to today. Well, T. Nicole says, this is the second time Adam and Chelsea have made me hungry. And wow, I'm feeling the romance from them. Sue W. agrees. They're hot and have great history. And oh yeah, Connor. Yet I feel like I'm more into Adam and Chelsea than I actually am. I feel like I should be more into Adam and Chelsea than I actually am. You know, that's a weird feeling. Sometimes I feel that way too about stuff. It's like, I'm supposed to like this, right? Okay. Yeah, right? But I do, right? Don't I? Yeah. Naomi says, I loved Chelsea's comment to Adam. I don't want perfect. I want real. Yeah, that was a really nice moment. I don't want perfect, don't need perfect. What I just want real. Well, here's something real. Connie says, March Madness basketball caught me off guard. And I was disappointed with only 3 episodes this week. But they did give us a lot to ponder. You know, it's funny. Again, I don't remember what I did yesterday a lot of the times. But I'm getting a lot better at remembering March Madness. Now, I did nothing to remember this last week in order to preemptively tell you, but as the week started, I knew. I was like, is it coming? Isn't this March Madness? Shouldn't there be? Okay, so I did know. I'm sorry that I didn't get that word out to you guys last week, but I'm sort of proud of myself that, like, it used to catch me off guard every single year. And then it's like you go to watch that Thursday show and you're all pumped up for it. You're ready for that routine and then nothing. It's so frustrating. I think I need to have a new spring resolution. Since I'm becoming better at remembering it for myself, I need to become better at communicating it to you. So I'm gonna leave myself a reminder in my calendar, and I'm going to vow to help the rest of the Y&R community never be fooled by March Madness again. We will see how that all works out. We'll see. We'll just see how that goes a year from now. It'll be a year from now, and I'll insert this clip of me just talking, vowing to do this, and I'll have not done it. But there's a lot to keep track of. For instance, if you go to yrchat.com, you're going to find a daily chat thread where you can leave comments, read comments all through the week. You can also see a ton of beautiful photos there. I really hope you guys take a chance to look at those and enjoy them, because it's like a archive. And feel free to go back into old weeks. I mean, why not hit a random week and be like, what happened this week 5 years ago, 10 years ago? You know what? You're going to find it at yrchat.com. If you're feeling like you want a little bonus podcast, you can also go to genoacitysoap.com, pick up a little something, a little blast from the Y&R Chat past there. Or you could simply come back next Sunday and we will chat about the upcoming week of shows. Should be 5 of them. Pretty sure about that. 5 full episodes next week. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a really good one. I love you, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.